Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here. I know it isn't an or-ass battle, but look at this. We have the kitty with keys combo versus Spinda Swap. I mean, this is like a showdown of crazy strategy that could just, I don't even know how this one could go. That Spinda Swap is strong and you have to shut it down, but I don't really see how the kitty key combo for all that double Prankster, it could shut it down. Like, I see a lot of status problems that could happen, but it's not going to make it not go off as much just like hard shutdown. So there's going to be disruption, and this is going to be crazy. Also, the Arcanine Intimidate doesn't really affect too many things right now. I'm excited, so of course we're going to see the fake out onto the Spinda. Can't let that skill swap go off. Klefki's going to set up the Reflect, but I mean, Spinda's just going to be able to do it next turn, it looks like. So there's the flinch. Arcanine's going to throw down the close combat, losing its defenses this turn, so the opponent making a pretty big mistake right there. Like, if you see a Pokemon fake out, you might want to delay it just a bit, you know, try to set up something else, play it safe. But we're going to see this coming through. So now Arcanine's weaker. Meowstic's going to get the Thunder Wave. Klefki's probably going to throw down Thunder Wave as well. So long as Spinda doesn't get paralyzed, you know, Arcanine's going to get those defenses back. And then there's going to be momentum coming into the opponent's favor. Like, this is why I wanted to watch this battle. Like, this is going to be such a back and forth. So there's the skill swap. That goes off. No paralysis. And if Arcanine can land that, we're going to be looking for some trouble right now. So double Intimidate's not really going to accomplish too much. That'll happen. And there's the close combat, so everything goes off. Now we're at the reset point, so it's pretty much like what should have happened on the first turn just a couple turns later. Reflect isn't going to really matter too much at this point. Light Screen's kind of the bigger threat for the Klefki because of the overheat, but Arcanine needs to get up those defenses. And Swagger, oh, that's going to be terrible right there, lowering the attack. Wow, confusing. So now we're getting that ultimate shutdown. Oh, and a Torment. The Torment Klefki, that's some awesome. Oh. So going to try to throw down the skill swap. Yet again. That means Torment, if it is Scarf, Torment's not going to let this happen next turn. So actually that's going to have to force the opponent into something else. And yeah, like I was actually thinking about Prankster Torment not too long ago. And there it is. So Arcanine's confused. Close combat's going to come out. And it's not going to really do too much at this point, but Arcanine's going to gain those defenses and go for the late game. And because Swagger doesn't really drop the special attack, Overheat's still an option once Arcanine gets set up, as long as it can fight through all the shenanigans. So there's going to be the withdrawal in Spinda. Spinda doesn't have any offensive options right now, and goes into the Dusclops. So Dusclops, what's he going to be up to? Just like a tanky, disruptive Pokemon? So Swagger's going to come in onto the Dusclops, going to raise its attack, confuse it a bit. We're going to see probably a Thunder Wave come in. And this is why I like the kitty with keys idea, is that there's so much status all over the place. Actually, Foul Play. Not really going to do much to Arcanine because Arcanine's lost so much attack from the Swagger. And Close Combat's going to come in. I think yeah, you could have seen the prediction, gone for the Thunder Wave maybe. That would have been my idea because you're like, that Spinda has to switch out. So now it's just like a huge mess. That whenever a Pokemon faints or goes down, that's going to be a free Swagger Thunder Wave the next turn into some kind of follow-up. And it's just that cross, you know, handling with the Light Screen, Reflect, statuses, and it's a mess to have to deal with. That really the only thing that intimidates the Kitty with Keys combo is a Garchomp, because Garchomp, it won't get statused and it will have a hard chance, or well, like Klefki will have a hard time against a Garchomp. So there's a lot of confusion right now, a lot of just stoppage. Not really doing too much though. Confusion's going to come in, and Arcanine's going to also hit itself in confusion. Now here's the interesting thing. People might make this as a point that like, oh, this is why Swagger is banned. Well, not quite, because I mean, if Meowstic carried Confuse Ray, for example, like any kind of confusion inducing would do the same exact thing as going on right now. Arcanine actually hurting itself less because of Swagger, and Dusclops not really hurting itself at all because it's a tanky Pokemon with low attack. So this is more a case against confusion than actual Swagger. So Arcanine's going to keep losing attack, so it's not going to have too many options. Needs to start throwing out that Overheat if it wants to see some damage, but it keeps getting confused. So here comes the Overheat. Now we're going to see a nice solid hit onto the Klefki. Will it be enough? Super effective hit says yes, and there's the special attack boost. So now here's where the dynamic swings back into the opponent's favor, because I said once that Arcanine gets set up and starts throwing out the overheats, now it's a threat. So Arcanine's going to be very defensive, very hard to knock out. Meowstic got it set up across the team. You know, now we have a lot of Pokemon paralyzed, confused, and a Mismagius follow-up. I'll bite. What's that thing gonna be up to? Nasty plot setup. So probably using Meowstic and all this kind of support to set up the nasty plot. Light Screen's gonna come in. That's gonna just kind of mitigate the special attack raise. And there's a Snap Out of Confusion. There's another Overheat. So that's gonna be a huge hit. Focus Sash is kind of like the only thing I can see here. Or just a... Wow. I didn't expect to survive. I thought it was a very frail Pokemon. Has a bit of special defense though, so I could... Now I understand the survival behind the Light Screen. And Will-O-Wisp is going to come in, start doing some damage to the Meowstic. This is an insane battle. Like, oh my goodness, I couldn't imagine this at like some kind of event. So Shadow Ball is going to come in, try to just knock out that Dusclops with the nasty plot, gets the damage, and it looks like it's going to try to turn the battle, you know, into we need to make this Arcanine versus everyone else. So Arcanine gets the avoid. I guess on the Swagger, lower accuracy, and then Overheat's going to come in and finish off Miss Magius. And Arcanine's getting some brutal special attacks. So that thing needs to go away. Now the Swagger miss right there was very bad, so we need the Paralysis to come through. We need the Swagger. Only a 25% chance, roughly like 60-something% chance to attack. Gyarados is going to come in and want to set up. I mean, if Gyarados gets the proper support, Light Screen's up, Arcanine has no attack, Overheat is actually going to be not very effective. Arcanine's attack raises now. Dragon Dance is getting set up, but then we also have to worry about like all sorts of other craziness coming in with the defensive bulk. And Lapras is going to have to like Sheer Cold or something to handle this. Actually, it's got the Freeze Dry. So actually, Freeze Dry will just obliterate Gyarados. But Lapras is paralyzed. Like, it's exciting to see all this. Meowstic, it's burned, so it's going to be taking some damage. Not really, like, I guess it's Citrus Berry as well. So now we see the Mega Evolution coming across. Lapras kind of the hope for the opponent right now. Except Freeze Dry is only going to be super effective 2 times right now, so it needed it on that little switch in right there. And then Waterfall is going to come in, so 1 Dragon Dance. And, whoa, critical hit? No. Oh, wow, so that means Arcanine, wow, it didn't really do much right there. I thought I'd set up a couple of close combats. It was at like +3, maybe even +2. So that's going to be a super hit. That Dragon Dance being too much. Overheat's going to come in. Going to try to chip in some damage. Yeah, even that not very effective hit right there. Doing over half. If Lapras can land the hit, though, that's where it comes in. Thunderbolt. So Thunderbolt over the Freeze Dry. Interesting. Not really doing a lot. Light Screen still up. And Leftovers coming in for the Arcanine. Double Paralysis. Gyarados is going to get that Waterfall off and knock out the Arcanine most likely. And that's going to come down to Lapras, I believe. So, yeah. That looks like how that one's going to play out. So in comes that. Arcanine's done. The setup did kind of break there, and because it got outpaced. That using that close combat on the first turn really hurt because it set it back 2 turns, effectively. So instead of boosting, it lost. So that was the deficit of 2. Could have been at a higher plus. Gyarados, the clutch survival right there on the Thunderbolt. Meowstic, I don't think Meowstic really has much to offer offensively. So it's really, Lapras is going to take the hit, most likely survive. In comes Spinda. Like, what is going on? So, I'm going to see this happen. Lapras is going to take that hit. Does it survive? No, yeah, exactly. There's a survival right there. Meowstic's going to throw down the Swagger, try to have Lapras hit itself. If Lapras hits itself, we're going to have another turn on the Gyarados. Spinda, I don't know what he's going to try to do. Teeter Dance. Oh, the extra support for the late game right there. Just everyone's confused. There's no rules anymore. Gyarados hits itself in confusion, Gyarados is out. Lapras hits itself in confusion, Gyarados has a chance for the follow-up. Lapras gets paralyzed though. Spinda now also looking at the confusion threat, and it looks like Meowstic really only has to worry about, you know, Meowstic's really only damage right now is going to be from Pokemon hitting themselves. Gyarados goes for the ultimate sacrifice. Does a ton of damage to Meowstic. Goes for the Earthquake to try to get some damage across the board. Meowstic hits itself in confusion, but doesn't have enough. Spinda's paralyzed. What is going on? Lapras hits itself in confusion and knocks it out. What just happened? This dude, and then Meowstic goes down to burn. So it's 1 hit point paralyzed Gyarados versus this Teeter Dance. Spinda. I'm out of breath, guys. And then it comes down to the confusion. If Gyarados hit itself, game, but it didn't. And the 1 hit point. What? I've never seen a battle. Make it to that level, guys. I've got nothing.